Hello, my name is Zachary Carvard, and today I will be reading a story that I've written myself called Egos Aquaria, which explores the fantasy aspect of my creative inquiry work, as you will be seeing throughout the story as I read it. So without further ado, sit back, enjoy the sounds of the fire, and the story. The roaring water of a river rushes past on a warm day. A mother yells out to her son playing in the river, "Jax, enough fooling around in the water with your sister. You're scaring the dinner away." "Sorry, Mama," Jax yells out to his mother sitting on the bank. "Shh! Yelling scares the dinner away, Jax," Zara exclaimed to her older brother. Jax turned and stuck his tongue out in reply before heading to shore. The kids climbed the white marble banks, giggling and playfully shoving one another. "Mama, the Aquaria is so blue today. It gets lost in the sky," Jax exclaimed. "That it is. Truly blessed to see such beauty," the mother said. As she pushes in front to tend to the fishing line from the kids, she gazes into the sky that reaches into the clouds. Zara interrupted her deep gaze by jumping up and grabbing the line that she was tending to. "Did we catch anything yet?" "By God's child, you have your father's patience. That much is undoubtable," the mother said, pulling Zara off the line. "How about we tell a story to pass the time? How does that sound, Zara?" "Oh, tell the one about the mist," Jax excitedly said. "I think your sister is a bit young for ghost stories there, Jax. How about the story of the sweet sands of the South Pole?" Mother said. No, you always tell that one. What about, Zara took a deep thought, staring at the river. What about Goddess Aquaria? Why does she touch the sky? Jax scoffed. "It's obvious, Zara. Did you not pay attention at all in school?" "Now, Jax, be nice. School can't teach you everything if your mother pulls you out for adventures all the time, now can it?" She winked and stared at Zara. Zara nodded her head and stuck her tongue back at Jax. Jax slumped to the ground and grabbed the stick nearest to him. "Fine, but can I draw the union?" "Sure, Jax," Mother said, sitting next to him on the patch of sand. "You may draw the union. Do you remember how it goes?" "Like this," he said. Jax took the stick, drew two large circles apart from one another, a small circle between the two, and Mother said, "That's right. And don't forget," and Jax jumped in, "the river." "Yep, I won't forget it." In a big swoop, he drew a figure eight going around the outer two circles and the center of the figure eight crossing over the smaller one. Look at that," Mother said. "That school still teaches some of the old ways after all." Patting Jack's head, Jax grinned with pride and glee and set down the stick. Zara stared at the drawing, a bit confused. "Mama, those are the same symbols on your arm. Why did Jack have you draw the onion?" Mother chuckled. "No, child, not an onion. The union. It's the balance of our world has with Minero." "What is Minero, Mom?" The mother took her head, looked up at the sky, and pointed at the large planet above them. Jax jumped in with a bit of knowledge. "Goddess Aquarius. She's the goddess of love and protection." Mother nodded. "That's right." "I'm a little confused," Zara said. She sat down on her mother's lap. "Is this a love story? Is this a history story? Or is this just facts?" "Well, a bit of both," Mother smiled, squeezing Zara and kissing her head. "Do you have the patience?" she said to Zara. Zara nodded in front of her as she felt the back of her head bumping under her chin. "All right, then. Before the time of light, there was but one god, Aquaria, the goddess of love. And protection," Jax yelled out. "Yes, and protection, Jax. Aquaria bore a child named Eliju, a beautiful goddess of passion and honesty. Before Aquaria was the original mother, This is why we say all are born from love. Mother paused, grabbing her children's hands and smiling. Aquaria would grow to feel sorry for Eleju, as she felt lonely in the world without any companion. Eleju's honesty drove her to ask her mother for help. Aquaria took her soul and split it in two, giving life to Miniro. Two halves of a whole, Miniro and Eleju. They grew together, loving each other so much that they grew into entire worlds. Some say their love ignited the first star, the very sun that brings us warmth. As the two grew, so did their need to become one again. The planets crossed the system, dancing closer and closer to one another, until they could see each other's eyes. They gazed into each other with a glance that fired the initial passion, to find that they had grown so much that their love was tearing each other apart. Eleju's sweet, loving self began to crack along her south pole. "That's the South Dance," said Jax. "That's right." And Miniro, fears of losing Eleju took over his mind, creating the mists of the north. "Well, that's not the story I heard," said Jax. Mother smiled. "Another time, Jax." Together, they came to realize that although they were two parts of a whole, they respected each other too much to tear down the growth that they had both made. They cast aside the desire to be with each other to form Ego, the moon that sits between our two planets. She pointed up at the sky, at the small moon between the rivers. Goddess Aquaria wept in sorrow for the pain she had caused, but also tears of joy for the growth of Eleju and Miniro. These tears run between the two planets, washing over them with love. This is why we have a river that flows to the sky and back down on the other side. Aquaria carries the messages and love between the two planets, forming what we call the union. Jax and Zara were quiet as their mother finished the story. The river's waters seemed quieter and more at peace, when all of a sudden the line pulled tight. Jax sprung up to reel in the catch. "Mama, is that a sad story?" said Zara. "Because I kind of feel sad." Mother squeezed the small child sitting in her lap, giving her a kiss on the cheek. I think it can be a sad story." She looked up at the distant planet of Miniro. "But I think there is beauty in what they became individually." She pointed out at the vast scape of the rolling hills and the large mountains. "Eleju is remarkably beautiful and special. Would you not agree, Zara?" Zara nodded and looked out at the flowing river as it lifted into the clouds. Jax finished reeling in the dinner. Mother lifted Zara on her shoulders and said, "Let's get going. We might be able to make it back in time to say goodnight to Miniro with your father." The end. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this story and a little bit of the world that I have been working on for most of my life. And if you want to know more, please feel free to find the story. It's called Spirita Osmia. Thank you.